Hey guys, welcome to MNMM PT NAATI. This is Mohit. Today's video is about PT core exam, one of your writing section topic, which is called write email. So today we will only be discussing about this topic. Before I start the explanation about write email, I want to share that if you are after PT core coaching or if you are after PT academic coaching, then you can always message us on Instagram or Facebook Messenger. Or if you are after Nati, Hindi, Punjabi, Gujarati coaching, then also you can message us on Instagram or Facebook Messenger. Simply search for MNMMPT Nati, or what you can do is in the description below there are links. You can use those links and you can get in touch with us. Tell us about your story, like when is your exam, what have you been doing, how have you been preparing, or are you a new student to these exams, what is your desired score, so that we can tell you that what would be the best plan for you so that you get your desired score in the first attempt without wasting your time and money. Also, if you are after Nati, Hindi, Punjabi, Gujarati prediction file, then you can also ask us about the same using Instagram or Facebook Messenger. Now let us start with today's topic, that is write email for your PT core exam. The first thing that I want to share is how will the screen look like when you get this question type. So it would be pretty evident because you'll see that they have given you a big box where you have to type down there. And if you look at the question, it is very straightforward. And when you read the question, it becomes very clear for you to understand that what is expected out of you. So the question says, read a description of a situation. So they have given you a situation down there. Then write an email about the situation. Straightforward, write an email. So you know this is email writing. You will have 9 minutes. So you don't need to memorize how much time you will get in the exam. Yes, when you practice, you will automatically memorize because you have practiced so many questions that now you know you get 9 minutes. But then it's always good to read the question. You should aim to write at least 100 words. When you read this sentence, at least 100 means the bare minimum you need to write is 100. You can write more than 100, but not less than 100. Okay. Now, write using complete sentences. So whatever you write down there in the space given, they all need to be complete sentences. You can't leave them halfway. You can't write incomplete sentences that are not grammatically correct or they don't deliver a proper meaning. You can't do that. So this is how your question will look like. This is how your the screen will look like when you have to do write email question type. Now the next thing that I want to share is a few dot points. They are very important for you to understand because when you actually sit for your exam, if you're not aware of these things, it may make you nervous and it affects your performance as well. So you can expect 2 to 3 questions for write email. Now approximately 10 to 15 marks out of 90 to your writing section. So obviously if you get 2 questions around 10 marks, 3 questions 15 marks, so you on rough basis you can see that one question stands close to 5 marks. Okay, now we've discussed time is 9 minutes per question. If you finish early, you cannot use that time for the other question and you can use your full 9 minutes, but when 9 minutes are over, you'll have to move on to the next question or the computer will take you to the next question. Now, word limit is 50 to 120 words, but remember we read a sentence in the question where it said write at least 100 words. So even if we know that the word count is 50 to 120, between 50 to 120, but because the title itself says write at least 100, which means I have to aim for anything between 100 to 120. I don't want to write less than 100 and I should not be writing more than 120. Now, what are the things that get checked when we write this question? Because if we are not aware of these things, we won't be careful while writing our email that yes, these things, they do get checked and I have to be careful about them. So the first thing is content. Obviously, whatever you're writing, it should be relevant to the question that has been asked, right? So if the question is about a complaint that you want to express because you went to this place and you're not happy about it, you cannot certainly talk about global warming crisis and all that. You have to write something that is relevant to the question. Email conventions, so how you start your email, how you end your email, that is called email etiquettes. Like the greetings like dear manager, something like that, and then ending it, regards, Mohit, writing your name. Form means the word count. So I have already discussed you should target between 100 to 120. Okay. Organization, is your email properly organized? Okay. So if we have a look at this slide, okay, they have given you 3 dot points. Your ideas must come from the following 3 themes. Must come means they have given you 3 dot points. You have to make sure you address all 3 of them, and that is called a proper organized email, where you have covered every aspect and every point that is mentioned in the question without missing any single point. Okay, that is a proper organized email. Now, grammar, because it is writing, your grammar, your spellings, they are very important, because whatever you write, it should be grammatically correct and your spellings need to be correct. You can either write British spellings or you can write American spellings. Both are fine, but it should be a correct spelling. And vocabulary. Vocabulary means using different words every time when you want to express something. Using the same word again and again and again, it shows that you have a very limited range of vocabulary. And so the template that I will share with you, you will see that it has a lot of fancy words and a lot of different words, which will show that you have a very good knowledge of different words of this language, and you will get a good vocabulary score. Okay. Now let us look at the question that you need to do. You recently visited a restaurant in your city and had a poor experience with the food and service. Write an email to the restaurant manager to express your concerns. So over here, you know that you will be writing an email to the restaurant manager and you'll be expressing your concerns, the disappointment, the complaint that you have regarding the service and the food you had at the restaurant. Now, in your email include, now these 3 points, they are very important for you to understand, because you have to include them in your email no matter what. So the first one is a brief description of your experience. What does that mean? Whatever experience you had, you have to write about it. Then the aspects of the service or food that were disappointing. Whatever part of food or service you faced and you didn't like it, write about it. Now, the word or is very important for you to understand. Over here, they have clearly mentioned or means you can write down the disappointment you had with food or service. Okay. Again, you have to understand that whatever you write here, it has to be brief. It cannot be in detail, because there is a word count involved. 100 to 120 is what you're aiming for. So if you write too much, you may easily cross the word count, and we don't want to do that. Okay. Now, what action you would like the restaurant to take. So over here, you can make some recommendations, give them some suggestions that whatever you feel is the right thing to do. So these 3 points you must include in your email so that you get a perfect score. Now, let us look at the template that we have made. This template, you can take a photo, you should write it down in your notebook. It is also included in the description below. There would be a link to this template. Feel free to download it and keep it with you. But this template is 1000% a template that you can use for any email question, right email question that you get. Doesn't matter, it's a formal email, informal email, an email to a council member, email to a manager, friend, your neighbor, anybody. You can use this template for sure. This template has been used by myself as well when I gave my PTE core, and I also got a perfect 90 in all 4 sections. So this template is not only tested by us as teachers, but this has also been tested by a lot of our students who have got their desired score of CLB 8, CLB 9, CLB 7. So you need not worry. You can use this template 1000%. Now, let us look at the template first. When you start your email, you have to obviously do the greeting part. So hello/dear. So you use any one. Now, if there's a name involved, go for it. But if there is no name given, like the question we just looked at, you're writing an email to a manager, name is not given, then you can simply write dear manager. Okay, because the name is not there. So if the name is not there, maybe write down the post or the relationship you have with that person. If it's a neighbor and you don't know the meaning, if you don't know the name of the neighbor, then you can just write dear neighbor, like that. Okay, that's perfectly fine. I'm writing this email about topic sentence. Now, topic sentence means the question you had. Okay, so you can include anything from the question. Obviously, it has to be a sentence, it cannot be a question. When you write it, it has to be in the form of a sentence. So it can be anything but from the topic that you've got. Now, the next thing is, to start with, I would like to shed some light on. So now you have started talking about your experience, whatever you want to express to the manager. And then we will write something from the topic, as I believe this is an important subject and needs to be addressed. Then you have firstly, I feel, then you write some ideas. Remember those 3 points that we have to talk about? Those points you can discuss here. Additionally, I also believe that idea 2. In idea 2, you can discuss about the remaining points that you have, the other 2 points. And then to conclude, I feel that the ideas that I have shared above will add immense value to the topic sentence. Again, something from the topic. If you want, you can paraphrase, that's totally fine. If you want, you can write something similar to the topic sentence, even that is fine. If you want, you can write something that is given in the topic sentence, that is fine. Warm regards, you write your name, okay? Now, this is the template that you need to be using. Let us see. What I would recommend is, you should pause your video here. You have the template, you have the question. Write something and see after that when you play the video, see if your answer is like very close to the answer that I'll be sharing. If not, that's okay. You're learning anyways. And the answer that I'll be sharing, you can save it as well, so that whenever you start practicing your right email, you can always look at that answer. You have a reference point where you can go, you can rely on it, and then start your practice, so that there's always a refresher that how should you write an email. Okay, now let us look at the answer that I have written. Now, whatever is in white color, that is all template. That's why it's in white color. But the other color, which is green, that is the content that I have added in the template, just so that you understand the difference, why we have used 2 colors. Okay. Now, dear manager, because there's no name involved, I'll write dear manager. I'm writing this email about. Now, what was the email about? Your experience at the restaurant. So now you start expressing your experience about concerns with food at your restaurant and about my recent experience. Now, this sentence is from the topic, because if you look at the question, what is the question? You recently visited a restaurant in your city and had a poor experience with food and service. Okay, and you are expressing your concerns to the restaurant manager. So I have literally written the sentence from the topic. I haven't created something of my own. Concerns with food at your restaurant and about my recent experience. Okay, next thing, to start with, I would like to shed some light on. Now I start talking about the ideas, those 3 points. Remember, we cannot miss them. Now, what exactly went wrong is what I want to share. Now, I have focused on food part. Remember, they said food or service. I have focused on food. Light on raw pasta that was served to me, as I believe this is an important subject and needs to be addressed. Now, I have given a brief description. I'm not going to write the pasta was raw and the meat was raw and the sauce was not red, this and that. I don't have that much of word count. So I have to make sure I keep it nice and clean and I keep it brief and to the point, so that later when I see that I have written 200 words, I don't have to sit and, erase the extra part. I will not have time. I only have 9 minutes. Keep that in mind. Okay. Now, raw pasta that was served to me. So I've expressed that. Firstly, I feel that the restaurant should quality check their food before serving it to the customers. That is another idea that I've expressed. Additionally, I also believe that managers should ask the customers while they pay about the experience they had during their lunch and dinner service. So I've given them a suggestion. Remember, you have to give a suggestion as to what action can be taken. Now, action doesn't mean that fire the chef or do this. No, that's not action. Action means what do you feel they can do so that the customer experience changes. It takes a shift. So you've given your suggestion, a healthy suggestion that, the managers, when you go to the counter and you pay, the manager can ask you, how was your experience? How was the food? How was the customer service? And then you can express whatever, and then the manager is getting feedback every single day, right? So that helps the place to improve. So this was a suggestion. Now I have to conclude. To conclude, I feel that the ideas that I have shared above will add immense value to the experiences of people visiting the restaurants. I've just concluded my email. Warm regards, Mohit. Now, after you finish your email, the first thing you have to do is go back to the question and ask yourself, have I discussed all 3 points? Yes or no? If I have missed any, I have to quickly make sure I include it. Brief description about your experience. Yes, we did describe. The aspects of the service or food that were disappointing. Yes, we did include about the raw pasta. So the food part. What action you would like the restaurant to take. We did give them a suggestion that the manager can ask the customers about the experience they had when the customers are paying every single day. So yes, all 3 points are covered. We are in the safe zone. Now, the next thing one needs to do is look at the word count. Are you between 100 to 120? If yes, great. Next thing you need to do is read your email and make sure there is no grammatical error and there is no spelling error, no typing error, no typo error, because these things are very common when you type something. After you are happy and satisfied with your email, you click next and you move on to the next question. So you have to make sure that you finish writing your email in like 6 or 7 minutes, because you do need some time to read your email, to make sure that you have some time to correct in case you've made some error. You can't use all your 9 minutes just to type the email, because otherwise you won't have any time left for proofreading your work, for making corrections in case you have made any error. So this is what I wanted to share in today's video about write email for your PTE core exam. If you need coaching, if you need any help regarding your PTE exam, you can always contact us. We are more than happy to help you so that you can clear this test. These exams, they are not cheap, they are expensive exams, and that is why our focus, Manmohit and our focus is only on feedback, okay? We just want to make sure that yes, we are giving classes, we are giving them live class recordings, everything is there, but we give feedback 7 days a week. Every single day, our students, they get feedback. And how do we give them feedback? So we use Telegram, okay? Now, let's say you've enrolled with us, and for example, your name is Sapna. Now, Sapna PT will be a group that is created for you. In that group, there is no other student. You will be there and 2 teachers, Manmohit and myself. Both of us will be there in that group. So there's only 3 people in that group. Now we give you a study plan to follow so that you exactly know what you have to practice on Monday. You exactly know what you have to practice on Tuesday, how many questions you have to practice, and you put your work in that group, which is checked every single day, all 7 days a week. And we give feedback that very day, that same day. You do not need to wait till the next day as well. That's how our students, they get their desired score. Because when there is somebody who is checking your work every day and giving you feedback every single day, I'm repeating myself, that helps you to gain your confidence, that helps you to stay on track, that helps you to understand your mistakes and also to understand how to fix those mistakes. And then you get your desired score. With that, I'll take your leave. God bless all of you. All the very best with your preparation, and do reach out if you need help. Bye for now.